Welcome back to the Spidey Talk Show, and I'm your host, Big Chungus himself. Today we're back talking a little differently this time. As you can see, we're here on the channel, you know how it is. Graphics posted? Oh, okay. Well, that's not what we're here to talk about now, are we? Anyway, this is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and 3 once more. We're talking about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Alright, we're gonna go listen, the only good thing about this is the glider. I didn't want to have to say it, but it is.
Life,
and
death, love, and war. Discover unforgettable stories.
Sponsor me, please. How long is this, huh? This all is 3 minutes. He only had like 9 minutes and 10 minutes of screen time this whole movie. Harry himself plus the Green Goblin included. Yeah. The only good thing about that is the glider. And guess what? There was only one thing they needed to do for this movie not to be a flop. I get it. They were trying to rush to the Sinister Six, but better movie makes better money. Rushing makes reboot, which makes less money because you got to spend all that money on the reboot. But they don't understand that. That glider is the only decent thing related to the Green Goblin. Now, we're gonna have a little trip. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. The lizard, sure, he had a bit of a weird design, but I was honestly pleased with that. It surprised me, and it made it a little bit more creepy and scary. Now, if they just did, and don't get me wrong, this is where a few things go into play for me. The lizard, great backstory. Could have changed the design, though. They could have kept the design, even if the suit was a little lame, alright? Even if the suit was a little lame, they could have kept the design. They could have kept this. I would have been fine with this. But it's just this. And I would have been fine. Oh, I forgot to add an extra E. Well. I loved the Lizard and Electro. When I saw Green Goblin, I'm like, now we're gonna go to something here. Now, let me get something straight. Don't get me wrong, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 is amazing. The costume, though, it's a little childlike. It's a little bit under. Don't get me wrong, he jump scared me a few times, especially in that fire when he's like, ah! I'm like, Jesus, back up away from the camera a bit. This, it's just, I don't know which one is more nightmare fuel at this point. This or this. Hopefully they change it in this. This, too creepy and I mean, take your pick. Which one do you want to see the perv, or do you want to see the perv that takes your children like Michael Jackson, or the guy that kills humans in a PG-13 movie? I don't know. Honestly, they both look like sexual predators. To tell you the truth, it's just a no for me. The Green Goblin has been he's been disrespected so much, and they could have used Electro. They could have. Spider-Man beats him the first time, and then that mysterious black figure lets him out. Bingo bango. Electro gets a suit, gets his power grid, has the fight, yada yada yada. It goes on for the same amount of time, and then they could have added a few deleted scenes for the post credits, like Peter meeting Mary Jane, or Peter meeting his father again. Somehow he survived that. But you get it. They could have worked with Electro, but Electro and the Lizard are two opposites. The Lizard is a scary monster. Electro is a human made out of electricity. And this is the best thing they could have done. It's the best thing they possibly could have. It's just they needed to change his backstory up. Never add the Green Goblin. And the reason why I say I'm comparing this to Spider-Man 3, and you're probably wondering why I'm not talking about it as much, it's because you need to learn something. Sam Raimi added two villains in there, but it's not like he was really given the choice. They pushed Venom in there. And honestly, for a time, I'm like, oh, I guess if there's villains I don't like, I can just, get them out of there. Because I never cared for the Green Goblin in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. If it isn't Norman Osborn to start the Green Goblin thing, what was the point of it? It's not the original Green Goblin, and it sure as hell ain't going to be the last. I would have preferred something much more less Michael Jackson perv level looking. But they could have worked with this. But Electro, change his backstory up, keep his look. You got the same story, just without Green Goblin. Electro kills all of the people at Oscorp, gets his Electro grid back, and at the end, that's when Peter sees that Rhino's on a rampage. And that's when they could have done a movie about Rhino. I would have loved that. Listen, I get it that they were trying to make a Sinister Six, but no. We never saw any other villain besides Rhino, part of the Sinister Six. Sure, we saw cameos such as Doc Ock's arms, Vulture's wings, and the Venom symbiote, but no. They showed us Rhino. I would have loved to see Peter fight another big villain, you know? It would have been hard for him to knock the thing down. And we wouldn't have, because I noticed something. All the other Spider-Man movies are filled with action. Punching, kicking, emotional scenes. But you know what Tom Holland doesn't have? Half the action they do. All I see is Tom Holland jumping, dodging, kicking his villain, and getting his anus kicked. Until magically, the villain is practically on the same level Spider-Man, and he's just like, "Ugh, ugh. You're going to explode, by the way." Vulture's like, "Wait, what?" Peter was probably like, "Oh, did I win?" The Amazing Spider-Man series with Andrew Garfield had emotional beats. It had action, but not as much action as Tobey did. But Tobey was lacking emotion at all. The Amazing Spider-Man series has a mix of Tom Holland and Tobey. Tobey has the action, but the MCU Tom Holland has more emotional vibes. Put that together, you think you'd get an ultimate movie, right? But no. We asked for more fan service. We asked for more villains. We asked for more funny Spider-Man. And look at what it gave us. What? Andrew Garfield, sure, he didn't look like the average run-of-the-mill, I go to school. No. That sure as heck wasn't the case. But you know what they all needed? Spider-Man 3. That's all they needed. Go follow my TikTok, by the way. That's what Spider-Man 3 needed. You know what? You know the only thing that Spider-Man 2 needed? That's all they needed. One villain. That'll satisfy me. When it comes to like action figures, sure, the more the merrier. But when it comes to my movie, the movie gets crowded. The movie gets repetitive. The movie gets awful. The Lizard, one singular villain. Electro. They could have just done him with Green Goblin out of the picture. Either way, Oscorp would have been a reference to the Green Goblin. And they could have still had like deleted scenes of him and all that fighting Peter. But imagine it. Electro just rematerializes after his death in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Peter doesn't see it, and he kills Gwen Stacy. Just shocks her. And then Spider-Man finds a way to kill Electro. Well, not kill, but get him under commission. And for Spider-Man 3, they could have done Rhino. I mean, if no one ever thought that they could have done just a movie with the Lizard, they could have done it for Rhino. Rhino could have been beaten by Spider-Man twice at the beginning, but then Rhino is like Spider-Man loses like a few times to Rhino, and then, Peter retaliates and does find a way and gets him out the suit. I don't know. It would have been better. And sure, y'all could have shown Rhino at the beginning and then show him at the end like last time. Yeah, y'all could have done that. Like, they could have put Electro in the ICU and the black figure's talking to him like, someone's really eager to join us. Alexei. I think that's his name, right? Alexei something? He's Russian. Black Widow crossover. I don't know. Listen, come on, Sony. Come on. Really? Come on, just really? Y'all pushed Venom in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. Look at where that got you. Y'all practically, at that point, y'all were just saying, we're going to take away your license for Spider-Man. At that point, that's what you were practically saying to him. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, y'all were just shooting yourselves in the head with that one. I love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man more than anything. And he's the most hated, repetitive Spider-Man to everybody. You know what? Let me just say it. I don't care how bad this video gets. Tobey Maguire series was honest. I didn't care for the first one. It was okay. Don't get me wrong, for a Spider-Man film and for it to be the first one, hallelujah. Good for you. Spider-Man 2, don't even talk about that. That's just an amazing movie in general. No one could ever say anything bad about it. Spider-Man 3, come on. Really? What's with Tobey Maguire always sounding like he's acting? Come on. Do what Nostalgia Critic does. Could you just say, let's see here, act? Let's try a little bit of that, huh? Huh, Toby? Please, just try and act as Spider-Man. And, come on, Mary Jane, do you only... If anything, Aunt May had the most energy in that Spider-Man movie. And Tobey Maguire really only acted when he was saying the popular catchphrases like, it's... You're out of your mind, Gabby. I don't know. I just don't know. Doc Ock was perfect. Green Goblin was okay. Sandman, up with Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Venom, go to hell. Electro, fine. Electro, good. Lizard, good. Green Goblin, trash. Trash, right down there with Venom. And Rhino is right where Green Goblin is. Well, Sam Raimi's anyway. And Tom Holland, I don't want to get started on him because Andrew and Toby are the most hated Spider-Man nowadays. And honestly, I'd wish they kept Toby out of Spider-Man 3, the newest one, and just had Andrew, because it would make more sense. Andrew, he shoots, he has web shooters too. He would plus he's lost his girlfriend, and if that does happen to Tom Holland, he'll have something to cheer him up. He'll be up. Andrew would be able to relate more with Tom than I think Toby would, because the only thing they really share is powers. When it comes to emotions, Andrew and Tom are the most similar, because they act. That's it for the Spidey Talk Show, people. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, this is personally my own opinion. No offense to Toby or Andrew or Tom. And Sony, just why? Y'all better learn, because Spider-Man 3 is going to be the only ever Spider-Man movie to make it to the Sinister Six, and I guarantee it. Because y'all have done so bad with Spider-Man that y'all can't even make it to the Sinister Six. That's your Big Chungus. This is the end of our Spidey Talk Show. Stay nice, stay awesome. I'll see you next time.